Hey everybody, welcome to Ram Chat and Ramcast. Today we are going to do a double working podcast video. I'm not even sure what to call it. We'll be streaming this on both Ram Chat and the Ramcast podcast. So you can listen when you're out on a run, maybe in the car, pull it up on Apple Podcasts and you'll be able to listen along. Or if you want to see our happy faces, you can watch online as well. So we have with us today, Mr. Rizzo over here, and then Mrs. Zasowski, our school board president, right below us. Hey, everybody, welcome to both shows, whatever we want to call it.
Great to be here.
Thanks for having me, Erin.
Thank you. So we're going to cover two pieces of information today. We're going to talk a little bit about our school board meeting, which was held last night. And we're also going to have Dr. Collier on, our high school principal, to talk about our grades 9 through 12 student of the quarter program, which we recognized those students at the board meeting. And we have some videos to go along with that. And it's a really nice program that he'll give us more information about. But for now, I think what came out of the meeting that is probably going to be the biggest change for our school community is that it was Dr. Gooden's last day in district yesterday. And Colleen, I know that you had wished you could have been there with us in person. You were zooming in from your location. Can you tell us a little bit about what this means for you as a board president and for our district?
Well, I'm certainly very grateful to Dr. Gooden for his almost 10 years of service that he's given to Springford. I was happy to see Joe Cerisi and Tom DeBello both speak about him in particular because they spent such a long time with him. And I was fortunate to spend the last few years with him as well. In fact, the whole time that I've been on the board, and this is in my second term, Dr. Gooden has been at the helm. And during that time, as Tom pointed out, as the video that you and Andrew did, there have been so many accomplishments that Springford, so many milestones that Springford has reached, and Springford has grown in so many ways. That doesn't happen if you don't have a strong captain of the ship. So I am grateful. I understand that we've all had some dark days, and those were referenced last night. But again, that should not overshadow the time that Dr. Gooden has spent here, because there have been a lot of really fabulous things that have happened in our district. And our district has become the envy of a number of other districts. I know that they look to us because I do speak with the other board presidents regularly, and they want to know what's happening, what Springford is doing, not just COVID related, but in terms of a number of different areas. What are we doing in curriculum? What are we doing in technology? What are we doing with our athletics, with our music program? They want to hear those things because they emulate us and they look up to us. And so I'm very grateful to Dr. Gooden for the time he spent here and for the time that he spent with me to learn what the objectives are of the board, to learn what it means to stay in my lane as a board member, and to learn from him. So I wish him the best. I do think he was ready to make that move to go home, so to speak. And I do wish him the best. And I do think his legacy will live on here at Springford.
So let's take a minute. We'll watch the video that we played last night at the meeting, a little tribute to Dr. Gooden and his time here at Springford.
Sounds great.
Well, I think I look rather dashing. Well, let's go see. Where am I going to work today?
And so what I've done for the first 7 weeks really is just reach out to people just to get a feel for who the personalities were and what areas they were involved in.
Hi, Dr. Gooden. Sending a really big thanks your way for everything you've done to make Springford a better place for staff, students, and for the community. Thanks so much, and good luck.
Thank you for everything that you did for me, for Springford, and I want to wish you the best moving on to North Carolina at your new home and getting back down south.
The National Blue Ribbon is a tremendous honor and reflects the quality of education students receive here at Springford.
Thank you for your commitment to the Springford community over the last decade. I'm grateful for your support of your staff, especially during this very difficult year. I wish you health and happiness as you begin your new journey. Good luck. We'll miss you.
And but when you're inside and you're in the heat of it and you're dealing with it day by day, you certainly gain a different perspective, and I've gained that different perspective as well. But you ask whether or not is it what I thought it would be, or is it better, is it worse? Spring Forward has exceeded my expectations.
Well, Dave, the time has come. You're going back home to North Carolina. I wanted to congratulate you and wish you good luck. Thank you for the years that we did a lot with this district and everything you did for our district.
So we really try to build on that and make sure that they have an experience that is, going to be memorable for them.
Dr. Gooden, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for all you've done for us the last 10 years. I wish you nothing but the best moving forward. Thanks again.
It takes courage on the part of the community to embrace such an idea and accept and recognize that when we do for our students and we plan for our students, that it benefits our community.
Doc, we've had lots of great conversations. I appreciate the opportunity and the trust that you've had in me to bring me here to Spring Forward. I wish you nothing but the best. I know this is a move that you were looking forward to at some point. So wish you nothing but success, and we'll miss you here. Take care.
Hey, Dr. Gooden. Congratulations on your retirement from Pennsylvania, and you're heading down to North Carolina. A couple words of advice, if I could, from a famous book that I know you enjoy reading, How to Improve Your Skills So You Don't Look Bad. I picked out a few random quotes for you. 1, it's okay to make up stories about your past to create a life of mystery. Hey, that's the way it's always been done. And then one more word of advice. Learn one good dance move. You got to have one-of-a-kind dance move, and please make sure it's got a twirl in it. You need a little help there, because all you usually do is just dance with your arms. But seriously, Dr. Gooden, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. Thank you for everything you've done for me, being a mentor, a friend, helping me build my deck, and just being a great guy. Thanks so much, and you can do it. Enjoy. Congratulations again.
I just want to send out a thank you to you for all you've done for Spring Forward and for your efforts to work with me on the board. I appreciate all that you've done, your leadership, your guidance here at Spring Forward, and wish you the absolute best in your new position.
Those of us in the Spring Forward community have taught. Let's start over. I'm just making too many. I know for the last, I've not been known for being very technologically astute.
10 years, it's a long time. It's been a wild ride. I want to thank you for making me the strong, confident, sometimes outspoken person that I am today. Enjoy the time with your boys. Don't worry about us. We're going to be fine, thanks to the strong administrative team you have put in place and are leaving us with. Take care, and God bless.
Colleen, you mentioned talking to other school board presidents, and this is something new that you started midst of COVID, but I think it's probably going to be something that you continue post-COVID, and we will have a post-COVID. I feel like we all get a little bit closer to seeing the light at the end of that COVID tunnel every day. But can you tell us about what you do and what you talk about and the purpose of these president meetings?
Sure. So yes, I did reach out to the neighboring school district board presidents in the midst of COVID several months ago at this point, and asked them if they wanted to just have the opportunity to talk about what is happening in their home districts. And the reason for this is because, we're all weathering this storm, but we're all in different boats as we weather this storm. I would like to think that we as board presidents spend some of our time in the same boat, that we are facing some of the same issues and some of the same controversies, and how do we move past this and how do we work through that? So it's been an opportunity for us to get together. We meet bi-weekly on Sunday nights because it's the only night of the week basically that is left. So we meet bi-weekly on Sunday nights, and we do share with each other what's working in our districts, what's not working. We try to brainstorm some ideas, some suggestions that people can take away with them, or they cannot. They can leave them right there at the door. It's really an opportunity to just share where we are, how we can meet some success, how other school districts have met with some success, and how maybe that could be brought into our own district, altered, or what have you, to help us move to that next place mark. So I would say that it's probably one of my favorite meetings because there is just an understanding among everyone of where we are and where we need to go and where we want to get to. We want our kids back in school. We all want that. We all want our kids back in school. But we also want them to be safe, and we want their families to be safe. And we want our staffs at the different districts to all be safe. So in order to do that, the planning and rethinking of how we usually do school has to be looked at from every different angle, and then some that you don't even think of until they land on your plate. So I would say that the meetings have been great. We're looking forward to the opportunity when we can actually see each other in person. We've planned a lunch for whenever that can be. We're not sure when that'll happen. But the other thing to note, the word has gotten out that we're doing this, and each time we meet, we have more and more board presidents joining in. So the Zoom link is sent out to probably about 15 maybe different schools, and we have people jumping on every week. Every time we meet, there's more people joining us. There are more people joining us. So I do think it's productive, and I think it's important that we do talk to our neighbors, because we're not in this by ourselves. We're in this all together.
You mentioned that this is one of your favorite meetings, and it's important to touch base with your peers. I am privileged to be part of an organization called PennSPRA, the Pennsylvania School Public Relations Association, which is a mouthful, and meeting with them virtually once every other month. It just feels so good to be able to talk to other people and say, oh, we're not the only ones going through this. We're not the only ones dealing with this. And Mr. Rizzo, you have that opportunity as well through filling in different meetings with our area superintendents, and to be able to talk to them and say, okay, yeah, same thing. We're all experiencing this together, and we're all going through a lot of angst and confusion and difficulties, and seeing successes as well. So it's really nice that our area school board presidents now have that opportunity through what you're setting up.
Yeah, I think previously that there was just this, I don't want to say isolation, but maybe in a sense, boards were working somewhat independently of the other area districts. And why? Why are we doing that? It's important that we, whether it's COVID or something else, that we talk to each other. We're all doing this. And yes, it's different in every location, but it's the same in every location. So let's share what we have in common, and let's work through difficulties that come up. My understanding is that the people that are on there are thrilled that this is happening, much like myself, and want this to continue well beyond COVID, as you said in the beginning of this. So I look forward to that happening. They're a great group of people. They're all working very hard, tirelessly, to make the right decisions. They do have the students' best education at heart.
Night at the board meeting, we also talked about the 7 through 12 grade interest form, which has already launched on Skyward and is available for parents. Mr. Rizzo, can you talk about that forum, the timeline, and the whole process that we've gone in through to get to the point where we are today?
Sure. This really has been an effort by many. It started out back in December developing the survey. We took our time with it. We really wanted to know what data was important to us when deciding what the third marking period was going to look like, and we designed the questions around that. Because the survey, as I mentioned last night, the survey is only as good as the information that you get from it. So we developed our survey back in December. We started it. We sent it out to a few people. In January, we got back together again. Excuse me, early January, we got back together again. We piloted it with some of our teachers. We piloted it with some of our administrators, with some of our community members. We sent it to our school board, all to review and get some feedback to make sure that we thought it was a high quality survey that, most importantly, is going to give us the information we need to inform our families so they can make a decision that is best, that best suits them and is most comfortable to them. So, we took our time with it. We took our time with getting it built, with getting it ready, and we're sending it out through Skyward, which is very helpful to us and to our families because it's a platform that they're used to and it gives us instant results. Our timeline is fast, but it's very, very reasonable. So as you mentioned, Erin, the survey went live today, and it's going to be live until 9 o'clock this Friday on the 15th. And then we're going to take that time on the 15th and over the weekend to really crunch the data, take a look at it, see what preferences our families have chosen, so that as we get ready for our special board meeting on Tuesday, the 19th, we'll be able to show the board what those results look like, what what viable options come out of the data that we collect from that survey. And then that information is going to be available to our community as well. It's going to be posted on our website right after the board meeting, so they'll be able to see what those results are and which direction the board is going to end up going. And then right after that survey on Wednesday the 20th, we're going to then send out our second very simple question. Based on the information that we've provided and collected from you as a community member, what option is best for your child? And then we'll move forward. We'll move forward with that, whatever that option is, whether it be in person, whether it be Springford Cyber, or whether it be fully virtual. We want to have those options available to our families.
I just want to add or piggyback on that if I could. One thing that was completely decided last night is that we will keep the virtual as an option for families through the end of this school year. Is that correct, Rizzo? Can you confirm that for us, Mr. Rizzo?
Sure, that's absolutely correct, because one thing that we knew, that regardless of all the discussions that we have been having, we've heard consistently that parents want some choice, and that parents are not comfortable seeing that virtual option go away, because we still have our families that just want that because that's the best choice for their families. So last night, we were pleased to see the board committed to having that option in place for the rest of the school year.
Yes, so the families do not need to worry about those families that are concerned, that may have somebody at home that they feel is more susceptible to COVID or what have you, or whatever the family circumstance is. They do not need to worry. We are not going to be revisiting that on Tuesday. Rather, on Tuesday, we are going to be discussing the information that you're able to get from the survey, from the initial survey that's going out. And then the commitment survey will go out immediately following that board meeting. Well, the next day, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Sometime in the afternoon the next day.
So this is our plan for right now. We are continuing to plan, and for the third marking period, also K through 6 will remain as it is at this time.
That's correct. And as families consider third marking period and what best options are there for their families, they'll need to reach out to their individual buildings. We set up a meeting this week to coordinate with the elementary principals for how they're going to communicate with their families. And that's going to be on a much more intimate level. It's going to be between the families of those elementary schools and the elementary school offices to make those determinations.
I really like hearing that the schools are working so intimately with the families and evaluating individual circumstances. And I saw that for myself firsthand, as I think many of the board members were challenged, not challenged in a negative way, but challenged in a positive way to go out and visit the schools and see what's really happening there. I know I was one of a few people that have gone out to visit a number of the schools. I have a few more left on my slate, and then I will be happy to say that I will have been to every school, which deserves the opportunity to say, hey, this is what we're doing. And that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see what works, what isn't working, how can the board help? Those were my three main inquiries that I made when I went out to the different buildings. And the thing that impressed me the most was how the administration in the building administration and the teachers and the staff are all working together to make this work for the students and the staff. And if that means that, a teacher that has a health issue and is susceptible is working from Zoom, then there's an aide in the class that's facilitating the class, and they're trying to keep it consistent. So it's the same aide that's there and it's familiar with the students and familiar with what the materials that are needed. Very impressed that on a building level, they are jumping in and working through all of the different scenarios that come up. I wouldn't necessarily know that if I hadn't gone out to visit those schools. So that was a time commitment. It was a big time commitment, but I'm really, really glad that I did that.
Yeah, I think we could all safely say that this is not an ideal circumstance, but I think we could also all say that our teachers and our administrators are working above and beyond to create as meaningful an experience as possible for our students.
100%, 100%. And I witnessed it firsthand. So thank you. A really big thank you to all of you in the district office and to all of the building principals, teachers, staff. It's amazing what people can do when they work together.
Bob, can we touch on one point that I think might come up for our K-6 families? You know, when we moved back to in-person learning, families had an option to remain virtual or move to in-person. And when that choice was made, they potentially had a new teacher. If they were going to, if their teacher remained virtual, maybe they got to keep that first marking period teacher, but more than likely they did change teachers. And right now, a lot of our in-person class rosters are pretty full, getting close to it. So if a family wants to move back from virtual and return to in-person for marking period 3 or 4, they probably can't expect to have that first marking period teacher back again. There will more than likely be a shift again. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. And you know, I have a 5th grader and a 6th grader. Both of them experienced a teacher change in the second marking period because we changed from being virtual, which was not a choice, to choosing to go in person whenever we made that switch. But that's exactly correct. What we did was for that second marking period, to give families that choice, we had to reshuffle the teacher deck. So we had to redo rosters and assign teachers and students to different groups so that we could have dedicated virtual teachers and dedicated in-person teachers, which did mean that there was a change. So as we go into the third marking period, if a parent or if a family is requesting some sort of a change for their child, it is very likely they're going to have a different teacher that is different than any they've had so far, whether it be the first or the second marking period. So that's something they really need to consider. We do know that disruption in the educational process is challenging for students. So we want to minimize that as much as possible. So unless there's really a change that is needed to suit a family dynamic, we really recommend that they stay in the same environment just to keep that flow going, just to minimize the disruption.
That makes sense. And as well, we learned as we were making some changes after that first initial commitment survey went out, changing for elementary through K-6 is not a fast or easy process. There's a lot of manual work behind the scenes that needs to be done. Manually moving students' grades, attendance from one teacher to another in Skyward, but then also doing a lot of manual movement in the other programs that we use. In Canvas, in Clever, in Nearpod, in all of the applications that go along with each student profile, that all has to be moved also. So if a change is needed, if a change is absolutely needed, it might not be the very next day. It might take a couple of days to be able to get everything moved over and set up. So patience is certainly appreciated at any point when we're making changes.
I actually was speaking on just that topic with Dr. Moyer over at Brook, because he was saying that there had been some phone calls and just that example that somebody had wanted to move from one to the next, from one model to another. And it doesn't happen overnight. There's a lot of background work that goes on, a lot of behind the scenes work, manual work that goes on. It's not just a switch that you flip. And then the other big issue, I think, in the K-6 schools is that shuffling of the deck of teachers that Mr. Rizzo mentioned, because you have to try to balance those numbers in the classroom. You need to not overwhelm the virtual teachers. So there is definitely some nuances to switching models of education. And again, I agree with you both that if there hasn't been a significant change or there isn't a significant reason to make that change, perhaps keeping the consistency of where they are at this time is best for their education.
Before we talk to Dr. Collier, we have the traditional Ramcast 5 questions coming back. The random
I asked you for a prompt. I asked you for a prompt before you did that.
So rather than 5, because we have 2 of you and we'll have Dr. Collier do his as well, I'll cut you a break. I'll only do 3. So Colleen, your favorite place on earth? Question 1.
The beach.
It's a good place to be. What word would you add to the dictionary and what would it mean? This is an interesting one.
That's Bob's question, right?
Oh. What?
I'll punt it over
I think
to
it
you,
was-
Mr. Rizzo. What word would you add to the dictionary and what would it be? What word can Webster add in?
That's it. That's the
Works for
word.
me. Spell check it and we're good to go. I think we all have a complete understanding of what that word means.
We do know what it means.
Colleen, what is your favorite sport to watch?
Um,
There aren't that many.
I want to be specific. I want to say New York Giants football. Yes, I'm from Philadelphia. Thank you.
Well, I don't know what to say about that. I'm sure some people will have some feelings and we'll hear about it next week. And then
It's okay.
Mr.
Go
Rizzo-
for it.
Mr. Rizzo, how do you define happiness?
So how to define happiness? Finding what makes you tick and making time to do that. And for me, happiness is just being with my family.
Excellent questions. And I'm so happy to have you both back on. Streamlining how we're doing things here, combining two shows into one and getting information back out again through these two formats. So it's always nice to see you both, be it in person or online. And let's bring in Dr. Collier.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, Dr. Collier, welcome to Ramchat. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon, Ms. Crew. Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure being with you today.
Thanks for coming back. This isn't your first time on Ramchat. And as you heard earlier, we're doubling it down. We're going to be on Ramchat and Ramcast. So the next time you're out for a run, you can listen to this on Apple Podcasts, which is exciting.
Sounds great.
Excellent. So let's talk about our school board meeting last night. We recognized 4 students as students of the quarter. Can you tell us a little bit about that program?
Sure. So this is our second year of this program. It was started last year under the direction of Dr. Nugent, and we're obviously happy and proud to be able to carry it on. It's a great opportunity for us and our teachers to recognize students. 1 student per every grade, every marking period. So, we have a variety of opportunities to recognize our students, from honor roll, and those types of achievements, athletic achievements, theater, music, art. This type of recognition is one driven by the teachers in regards to nominating a student each marking period that really demonstrates, really good, outstanding characteristics of the students and really the types of things we want all of our students to do. Great attendance, leadership, respect, participation, those types of things. And so again, it's really driven by the teachers nominating these students, and then each house office reviewing those nominations and then ultimately selecting a student of the quarter for each grade.
Do you know about how many nominations you receive? Do you do it each quarter? Do you do once per year and then sort through that? How does that behind the scenes process work?
So we do we open up the nominations every marking period to all of our teachers in a Google document, and they're able to nominate a number of students per marking period, and each grade level is selected within the house office after reviewing all of the nominations. I don't have an exact number of the number of students that get nominated each marking period. I will say I do believe this is gaining in momentum in regards to our teachers taking advantage of the opportunity to recognize their students.
So last night we had our students come along with their family to the school board meeting to make it official. That was our real announcement. I know that Mr. Rothermel has also recorded a spotlight video, which we'll loop in here as well to be able to watch, which highlights those students in a really nice way.
Yeah, and we're able to provide a beautifully framed certificate that acknowledges the student of the quarter, and then of course we are able to post the student's picture along with the certificate in our front hallway, so the student body can see that as well. So looking to really give the students, the proper attention and recognition that comes along with this award.
And last year, February last year, just before the shutdown, we took a group of students as well as their parents from the high school down to Fox 29 Studios to participate in a TV show called The Classroom. And we received $500 for going down and participating. And that $500 went towards purchasing a heck of a lot of frames. Thank goodness for Michaels and their BOGO sales, because I know you have a big stack of frames in your office. This program is going to go on for years thanks to that $500 donation from Fox 29.
Yeah, we're definitely appreciative of that and all the people that support this. Likewise, yourself and some folks in our art department who update the display case, and the support of the board as well. So it's a team effort, and ultimately the students win. So we're pleased to be able to offer this.
Well, let's take a look at that video now.
Great.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Student of the Quarter on Ram Country TV. Today, we are going to be talking with 4 students who have won this award for the first marking period of the 2020-2021 school year. These students are nominated from teachers for going above and beyond their role as a student. Each student receives a certificate for their accomplishments. Our first winner is 9th grader Isabelle Voigt. Isabelle's nomination describes her as being a positive influence in class. She is one of the few virtual students in this class who regularly turns on her camera and actively participates. She has an extremely positive attitude and shows a true interest in learning. Her work is excellent and her grades reflect that. In addition to being a wonderful student, Isabelle has also helped with virtual teaching, volunteering to experiment with Canvas assignments to let the teacher know what the students see on their end and to help find the best ways to post assignments. She is really an exceptional student and deserves recognition for it. So Isabelle, what is your reaction to how this teacher would describe you?
I am happy that they feel like I helped out. I help out, and I'm honored that they chose me. And I think I'm beginning to know which teacher is. And I really enjoy all my classes, and I turn on the camera so the teachers can like see me, and I think it really makes them feel good, and it just made me feel honored that they chose me to be the student of the quarter.
So how do you manage your time for school in the virtual environment?
Well, I like go to classes from like 7:40 to 2:30, and then any work I have left over, I usually wait till like in the evening, and during like study halls or like some of the classes, they end earlier. So if I have any leftover work, I do it when I have no classes. I just do that and listen to music. And it happens a lot when the classes end earlier, so I'm able to get more work done. And I generally just like spend my own free time between like 2:30 or like 5 o'clock or whatever, and then do my homework in the evening.
That's great. And what advice could you give to other students?
Well, advice that they could use was don't wait until 11 to do your homework, even though it's due at 11:59. I see myself doing that sometimes. Like, get your homework done first and like spread out your long-term projects so you can get them in on time and not like stress out. Because now we're virtual, instead of like having assignments due the next day, we have them due at 11:59 at night. So just don't wait until that long to do your work so you can turn it in on time. That's one of the main advices. And turn on your camera so the teachers can see you, because they like that.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for your time. That's the only questions I have for you today. So congratulations again on your achievement.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Our second winner is 10th grader Anastasia Maylie. Anastasia has maintained above 90s in all her classes first quarter, even as she struggled with virtual learning. Virtual learning has been a challenge, but she has persevered. She takes pride in her studies and is often disappointed in herself when she falls short of her own expectations. This doesn't bring her down. It makes her more determined to work harder, which is a wonderful trait for someone so young. She is a respectful, kind young lady. She is always ready to lend a helpful hand. Anastasia has made a big impression on me this year, and I feel this award would be something not only she would be very proud of, but an award she deserves for her hard work and determination through these challenging times. Anastasia, what is your reaction to how this teacher describes you?
I am very flustered and I don't know what to say. It's just kind of like, oh.
It's a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
So how do you manage your time for school in the virtual environment?
I kind of just look at my daily schedule and I'm like, all right, so during this time I will do this, 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 and this, and then I'll do a breakdown of 2 hours of doing my homework. If I do have to do a longer period of time, I'll take a break before I do more work, but other than that, I try to get it all done in like a day or so.
So you really sit down and just focus on what you're doing.
Yes.
That's awesome. So if you have any, what advice could you give to any other students, whether younger than you, older than you, just any advice that you can give to other students during this time?
Well, I find that the teachers can be very flexible depending on what you are doing. And if you're having difficulties, please ask the teachers. They will help you. And if I hadn't asked teachers for certain things or for help for certain other things, I would have done a lot worse. But since I did, it really helped me with getting my grades up. It really helped me understand what I was learning. And it just really, really helped. So please ask your teachers.
Well, thank you for your time, Anastasia, and congratulations again. Well deserved.
Thank you so much.
Our next winner is 11th grader Nicole Griebe. As a member of the band leadership team, you tutored another student in your section who needed extra help. You took time out of your own schedule to help a colleague in need. It made this individual better, but also the band better. Your teacher appreciates your willingness to help, serve others in friendship, and give back to the community. Nicole, what is your first reaction of how this teacher describes you?
I kind of feel honored and like kind of happy. Yeah.
So how did you balance marching band and your academics through this time?
I kind of like, I did schoolwork up until like 30 minutes before practice, and then I just kind of focused all my energy into schoolwork, and then that was like, I had no distractions, and then as soon as band came, I just put it all away, went to band, and if I had anything else to do, I just finished it after I got home. But
And what advice would you give to other students in your class?
I just say be yourself and like don't give up. If you're going through something hard, just know it'll pass eventually and you'll end up doing great.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again for being a student of the quarter. Our next winner is senior Ben Chevrier. Ben arrives each day and provides maximum effort every single day and has made tremendous strides over the last 3 years. Adversity reveals character, and Ben has been steadfast in his studies, a quiet leader who lets his work do the talking. His excellence is also evident outside of this program in modern world and math applications. I'm extremely proud of how far Ben has come and am very thankful for the role model that he is for our program. So Ben, what is your initial reaction to how this teacher describes you?
I'm thankful.
So how do you manage your time at school and in this environment?
You mean like the online environment? Well, I usually use my computer, and I usually go on the Zoom and do what I have to do.
That's good. So what advice would you give to your classmates?
Make sure you keep up with your work.
That's such a nice video. Excellent work from Mr. Rothermel and Rctv. As always, I know that you're pretty excited about being able to share that out with the school community.
Yeah, and you know, it's a great opportunity to get to know the students in a little bit more depth there through that interview process. And again, another way to showcase the talents and great things our students are doing. So great video, Mr. Rothermel.
And as we end every RAM cast, we're going to do it on the RAM chat as well. We have random questions for you. Now, Mr. Rothermel is usually recording with me when we do a RAM cast, and he's not today. So I'm going to take his place. I'm going to ask you 4 random questions. Are you ready? You just have to Think on your feet. Okay. What's your favorite meal?
Breakfast.
Not where I was going with that, but
Do you want an explanation as to why?
yeah. Well, it's the most important of the day.
That's one. It
Okay.
can be eaten. It can be eaten at any time throughout the day. That is a meal that you could have for dinner.
Yeah.
That breakfast is probably my favorite.
Pancakes for dinner is a thumbs up.
I don't think you can go wrong.
I don't know if there's a dinner meal that I wouldn't eat at breakfast.
That's interesting. The versatility of the dinner meal could be in question. I believe the versatility of a breakfast meal is a little bit more universal.
We'll have to circle back to this in another episode. Can we eat dinner for breakfast?
Right.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh boy. You know what? That's a great question.
You're a pretty mellow guy.
I am a pretty easygoing guy. I like to think. You know what? Something that first came to mind here, I guess, would be cell phone usage and excessive cell phone usage, face in the phone type scenario. I guess that could be a pet peeve.
That's a pet peeve for sure. If you weren't in education, what would you be doing?
You know what? I could see perhaps something in the field of athletics or law enforcement, believe it or not. Was involved with both of those in college, and it took a little bit of a turn into the education field later in my college career. But I was on that path for a little bit there, so perhaps that's another place I could have gone.
Fourth question, what is your favorite childhood memory?
I have a lot, which is fortunate. I gotta think probably vacationing with my family in northern Michigan. So we had family in northern Michigan and would travel up there, for your annual summer vacation, and those types of trips, were pretty meaningful for the family. So I would say those family vacations when I was a little bit younger.
And your final and fifth question, what is your favorite show on Rctv?
I don't have a favorite. I'm going to rank them all equally great. And anything that you're hosting really is perhaps my favorite.
This isn't the only show I host, so we're going to have to go with the Ramcast chat.
Ram chat it is.
All the Rams, the branding worked itself out, but now we're overdoing it with the Ram, I think. So our next show we'll come up with a different name.
I don't know if you can really have too much Ram, so we're all in.
Well, thank you so much for being on. Thank Colleen Zasowski and Mr. Rizzo, who were on just before you. This has been another great episode, and we will talk to you later.
Great.
Right.
Okay, we ready?
Yes.
Avery, I need to clap. You need me to check your teeth? Do you have any lipstick on? You're good.
I try to leave a piece of lunch on my teeth.
That's a good thing about the masks, is that you can have food all over it. Nobody will know.
It's awesome.
Post edit is amazing.
Hey, looking forward to it. I don't know why I am flickering. Something's flickering, correct?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Don't know.
There it goes.
I see it.
Is this a do-over?
Who?
So like it just stays there all the time. So
Is it like plugged in all the way? Crickets.
I have nothing else to say. That's good.
Nobody's saying anything. It's going to keep blinking. That's fine. Let's just keep going. Hey, Dr. Collier, welcome to Ram Chat. Oh, Mike. Wait for Bob to finish.
You gonna clap again? Or no? Okay.
There you go. That's not right. So I think I don't think my forehead's supposed to move this much. Every time I leave an actual meeting now, not a Zoom meeting, I'm going to wave to people.
That's going to be your
Yeah, like in person.
yeah, that too?
Yeah,
Yeah,
in
just
person. I'm only going to wave.